What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 6th episode of Trench Talk. My name is Anonymous22 with my usual co-hosts, NRV and LTR. It's been a very busy week, so we're just going to keep it us three today, just the boys. We got a lot of very controversial topics to talk about relating to current meme cycle and also the very, very, very heavy topic of celebrities getting involved with crypto. How are y'all two doing today?
Doing well, man. It's been a very eventful week since we last spoke on here. Lots of stuff going on. I'm really excited to dive into it. The market's been hot. My sleep schedule's been all over the place, sometimes lacking sleep because I have trades open or the market's been hot, so I've reversed it a bit to stay up late at night. I've also reversed it a bit to watch a lot of Valorant. I'm a big fan. I watch the VCT stuff. So, yeah, lots to talk about. I'm excited to dive into it. How about you, LTR?
I've been good. I haven't been trading as much, unfortunately, just because where I go to school, it ends in June. So like right now is kind of finals, which kind of sucks because so much stuff happened. But it is what it is. I think I dodged a lot of bullets in some cases, just with random gambling or whatever. But I've been good otherwise. Just kind of been watching, of course, but haven't been trading as much this week just because of finals. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I've talked to other people about how they've approached these last couple of weeks. When we had Pwn Lord on recently, he said times like this are basically what we prayed for during the bear market. Even if you just go back a year and a half ago. So he feels the need to be active and whatnot. And I feel like a lot of people probably feel the same way, but the downside of that is it can definitely cause over trading because they feel like I gotta make a play. People are making money. I'm missing things, but I know other great traders that are really just sitting back and holding their spot bags. And in many cases, they're probably outperforming people that are trading too much. So it's interesting because, there's huge plays, but if you're not patient, you might make mistakes and lose your money. You might be better off just holding good conviction bags.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And especially, we'll get into this, but, with the celebrity coins especially, a lot of it was actually luck just with gambling and stuff because, a lot of them were already live before the person tweeted or stuff like this. I mean, unless you have some type of Twitter bot, which is a great edge. I do feel like a lot of people got burned just because, there'd be 10 of them that were out and you just have to pick the correct one, that they would tweet later. Obviously, you could buy on the tweet, but nobody really wants to do that.
Yeah, it's probably a good way for us to parlay into the celebrity stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? What are you thinking on? What do you have to say about it?
Well, I will say, with the, I'll just kind of, relate this, to meta changes. I was struggling a bit, and, the biggest people that won on the celebrity thing were actually I won't name drop the bots, because they're a little private, I think, still, but there was these bots that would just monitor keywords, so the actual winners were the people that were just buying a little bit of the pump fund of each of these celeb coins with their name under it, and, man, I saw some crazy screenshots, one sold to 300K. It was absolutely disgusting. But the celeb thing, man, it's very hard because I feel like it's very easy to be extremely negative towards it due to all the stuff we have dealt with in the past. Has there ever been a time where it's gone well, positively? I don't think so, right?
Long term, no. I think short term, yes. Obviously, NFTs, a lot of them cooked still, but eventually it just goes to zero.
Yeah, yeah. So it was just I think one of the biggest questions that got brought up, and kind of what I understand, what I see people like Ansem is standing up for is they do need to be onboarded somehow. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, the past week, we saw nothing but the most shady shit, right? Having their coins out for a little bit, not even a little bit, freaking hours without saying it's theirs, and then you have, the DeVito coin, where, the 20% wallet was just mass dumping while being shilled by people.
Solana itself was supporting DeVito, which was crazy. There were Solana team members on that space while the dev of DeVito was literally just nuking 100K after 100K. It was so funny to me.
Like-
Obviously it's sad, and it's just like you have to be really careful in this space. But yeah,
like one of the main issues with it is, I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, they have to be onboarded, and more people have to be onboarded. It's like when they see a celebrity tweet something or launch a coin, maybe that's like the first time some random person says, "Oh, like if they're doing this, I'm a big fan of them. I'm gonna get into crypto here." Like, or I'm already into crypto. I have some Solana or I have some Ethereum. I'm gonna get involved with this, and they think it's safe. The reality is it's not. And the big problem is most of these celebrities have no idea how to get involved or how to launch any of this stuff. So they end up leaning on bad actors, these people that are just going to pad their own pockets or get their insider friends involved. And we've just seen that over and over and over again over this past week. Obviously with that guy, Sahil. The one that people seem to have latched onto was when Iggy Azalea kind of like stood up and said F you to that guy. And she basically used her brother to help her launch a token. And that one ran a lot higher than most of them, and honestly may continue to do so because it's a bit of an outlier in that case.
I think she was lying, personally. I mean, that's just all speculation, but
yeah,
I think...
But the narrative is there.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree.
I will say, like, at least she is kind of, mentioning it after, a few hours.
Yeah, true.
Like the other people.
Lil Pump just, tweeted and deleted, in 3 minutes, and dude, that shit was so funny.
Yeah, his was the worst, by far.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Literally went to, only, 200K. Soulja Boy's was pretty bad, too, just, the Instagram.
And then he CTO'd it. I was like, what the... What
How does he know what a CTO is, bro? That's
Dear
crazy.
Lord, who took over his account? But also, the big thing is, I can honestly be honest that Soulja Boy was in a Spaces 2 days ago, and he said, "All right, guys, I understand I scammed in the past, the whole Zach XBT post," and he was having people respectable people I would say within our community that have probably launched stuff, but kind of tell him how to launch it, and his question was, well, how do I not be a scammer but make money? And I'm not going to lie, I kind of sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, I really don't know. I really
What do you mean you don't know? You do it yourself.
I mean, it's some way, somehow, it's going to be a little scammy. It's pretty hard to, make a meme coin, let's say, you have it all in one wallet. You sell someone that wallet, you're going to get crucified.
I think that's the point of what people are saying, though, is just don't launch anything. You can make money in this space without launching something yourself. And I think that's what people are saying to these celebrities is if maybe they were buying and supporting other established coins or something, I think there would be way, way less pushback. But the fact that they join and a day later they're launching a meme coin and, they have 50% in their dev wallet that's selling is and then they ask, oh, well, how do I not scam? Well, don't fucking launch anything. I think, yeah.
It's very interesting, yeah. I guess I can definitely say, maybe just the meme coin route is not to go. But I do feel like there is a chance that, a celeb could run, a meme coin to a decent amount.
I totally
wouldn't,
agree.
Put it out there. I really do think, there is a road where it goes right. I don't know who would do it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, they would have to actually stick with it, not just, post it. The dev
I think it would be
sells.
A smaller celebrity. Someone who has clout, but is also not, B A tier, Look at Zach. I would consider him a celebrity, but he's not as big of a celebrity as people think. And, that coin ran to 100 million, right? So if there's a little someone that's bigger than him, maybe been in a few movies, maybe a cult character that's not super famous, I think that would do the best. Someone who kind of aligns with crypto's degeneracy. But I don't think it'll be some SA tier celeb that just launches something because they won't stick with it. And that's I think the main problem.
Hopefully with what we're seeing with these bad ones go out, I mean obviously not every celebrity sees what's going on, but some of them do. Hopefully with a lot of these poor launches and how it may or may not hurt their reputation in certain regards. Obviously, it hurts their reputation in the crypto sphere. Hopefully, if other celebrities get on board and do something in the future, they'll actually be maybe a bit more mindful or have some intentions around what they're going to do with their their coin after the fact, because a lot of these people just launch it and kind of do nothing with it. It seems like some of these people may have plans to do stuff in the future. I saw a lot of people talking about the one that Antonio Brown launched called CT ESPN, saying like there's a good chance that he'll continue to do stuff with it in the future, even if it's just mentioning it, because it's literally like the name of his media company and his podcast, I guess. So I don't know. Most of them are just going to be a flash in the pan.
I will say, to Antonio Brown's credit, as crazy as he is, he didn't sell any. Like, you can still see on Deck Screener the 14% wallet. I mean, obviously he could have had side wallets, but like, he went about it kind of correctly, and like, he kind of kept with it, and he kept shilling it. And it's funny that the market didn't respond to that, you know? Like, it didn't do well, and yet he kind of did everything right. I mean, as right as you can be in that situation compared to others, which is just interesting how I think it shows the psychology of crypto in a lot of cases, is that we hate these scams, and yet they're the ones we want to trade the most, or the ones we give the most volume to.
So what do you guys think about this? Like, I've seen a lot of people out like posing this question on Twitter, or just like raising, either saying like it's this way or the other way. The idea of like, when we see celebrities start to do this, do we think it's the top? Personally, I don't think it is. I think we're going to have an insane summer, maybe even probably through the end of the year, at least up until the election. But it's definitely a topic worth discussing. Like, people see celebrities get involved and they try to compare it to past cycles, and they say, oh yeah, this is really top-ish. Surely this is the top. I don't think it is. I'm curious what you guys think.
I think I'm a subscriber to the theory that the top is in when nobody thinks the top is in. So if you just see people thinking we're going to have a super cycle for the next 40 years and that we'll never top, I think that's like going to be signs. Okay, we're probably approaching some sort of apex, right? But I think right now people are so quick to call a top that it's just not the top. And that's what I think.
It's definitely very interesting because, you know, I'd say most of us, and probably most of us that watch this show at this point, I doubt like anyone really new is watching. If you are, like, shout out you, but it's probably just a lot of people that we've kind of been around for the past 2 years. We are all in this little bubble, and we all have this same exact PTSD. You know, we all kind of saw the signs of the last cycle top, and, you know, a lot of them are similar. And it's just like, no matter what, like, especially for me, because this is just my starting second cycle, where it's just like, it just gnaws on me a little bit. I'm just like, oh god, that's bad. That is real bad. Like, I remember seeing this play out, and the PTSD it's strong, it's real, and it really affects my decision making. I literally like went max short, I think, like Tuesday. I think it was after the mother coin. I just went max short. I didn't care. And then I think some Fed data came out the next morning, and so I closed it. And I was just like, okay, I'm trading. I'm being emotional. It's something you do not ever want to do. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I can agree with the you know, when everyone's calling that we're gonna go up more. I agree with you, LTR, but I don't know if our like bubble of CT Ren will ever be like that. I think we're all just have so much PTSD, and I don't think we'll ever get over it.
I also think, compared to the last cycle, there were a lot of people that on Twitter who are great traders and are well respected that called the top, but I don't think they'll do that anymore, just because CT has become so negative towards people sharing their trade opinions, especially if it's contrarian to their own. I mean, you saw Donald go publicly short with, and he became the talk of the town. Everyone was saying roast the duck. And I believe he actually made good money on that whiff short and exited well. But the funny thing is, it's just like nobody really wants to share their trade ideas on Twitter anymore, except if they're, you know, shilling their KOL bags. Nerv does a great job of sharing his trade ideas, but that's like meme coins as well. I'm talking about like contrarian shorting, or I think this is the top. People just shit on these people endlessly. So I think we'll just see nobody talk about it. Also, just because, yeah, they don't want to get shit on, and there's no upside to talking about it anymore on crypto Twitter.
Yeah, it is definitely very hard. I do know, like, there's this one guy that I followed for a little bit, and then he got clouded because he, like, nailed a very insane short. And I was following him for a little bit because his ideas were good. And his name is Anteater. He was, like, pretty on par with, like, talking about the market and kind of like doing scalp shorts and longs. So that's like someone pretty good to follow if you don't already. But yeah, I do agree. Like it's just so Twitter's so toxic, man. That's all I can say. It's bad out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent, and I've said this a lot on my Twitter, is just make some lists, make an alt or something, and just curate your feed, curate your lists, because I really think Twitter, as it stands in its normal mode, just refreshing and looking at the For You page is negative. It's not good. So I would really curate your chats, curate your lists, curate your following, and just avoid the bullshit, because there's just a lot of noise.
Honestly, that's a really good point. I've been very meticulous about curating my Twitter followers, the people who I follow or following, whatever you want to call it, for I don't know, the last few years, just basically like the entire time I've been doing this full time. Sometimes I have to go back and like go through it. It takes forever, but it's important too, because like I did it like 2 months ago, and like there was still a bunch of crap in there from when I was full time like NFT trading, just people and projects that rugged or disappeared, whatever. But you bring up a great point. Something that I'm not doing, but I know other people are doing really well, is the lists. Like I could realistically make a list just solely about people that are great at trading Solana, or that are great at calling out their trades or their coins, or Solana influencers, whatever you want to call them. Right now, I'm just getting a direct feed of everything. I should definitely do the list. I actually thought of this maybe 3 months ago. There was a period where Ansem was going live on Twitter fairly often, and no, he was going live on Twitch actually. I think he still does it from time to time, but he'll share his screen when he does it. And he talked about his list that he put together, and I think his are actually pretty in depth too. I don't do that at all, but I definitely need to.
I think it's great for separate chains, because I think if you have Solana traders, base traders, ETH mainnet traders all in one feed, stuff can get lost. So if you have a Solana list, if you have a base list, if you have a perps list, if you have a blast list, like I think you take advantage of Twitter Pro and just have them each in a little column, you'll pretty much hit everything.
Yeah, one thing I do on Twitter that I think is like super optimal, I've shared screenshots. I don't know if I think I've shared them with you guys. I share them in other chats too, but I use TweetDeck or Twitter Pro to just like basically create a custom deck is what it's called, where you can just add columns, vertical columns next to each other, where it gives you a feed based on certain keyword queries. I mean, it could be like a string of words. For example, I'll open mine up right now. I have one deck built for base, and I have queries like on base. Next column, launching on base. Next column, stealth launch base. Next is base coin. I have one for on Basecamp, which is like one of the Pump.Fun platforms. I have a feed just for Jesse Pollock. And I have like other projects that I'm specifically looking out for, that I'm anticipating a launch from, and I don't want to miss their tweets. Like, yeah, I can have Noti set up for them, but if I just come to that deck that I have specifically built for base, I'm probably not going to miss much, And you can build them like that for any chain or any specific topic.
Especially if you combine, I would consider that to be qualitative data. It's not exactly numbers. It's not exactly charts. But if you combine that with like wallets or trending lists, which is quantitative data, if you combine the qualitative with the quantitative, like you said, you'll pretty much miss nothing. I mean, whether you buy it or not is ultimately your decision. But as far as seeing it, I think that's a good benchmark that people don't realize. Like, let's say I fell asleep and I missed some big mooner. I'll always go back and like search the contract address in my wallet tracking to see if I could have caught it if I was awake. You know what I'm saying? And that always gives me a little bit like, it makes me feel better about missing it, just because, okay, well, I was asleep, so it was impossible to hit it. But if I was awake, I probably would have seen the wallet ping. Would I have bought? I don't know. But it's good to know that your systems are working and that your edge is still working. It's kind of like backtracking in trading when you're testing out an algo. It's the same kind of thing, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of cases, like, you kind of get inspired to figure out a process like that, or put something together, whether you have dev skills and you build a tool, or you look to get an information feed like this through qualitative information like you mentioned. You see a huge trade come up and you're like, damn, I missed that. How did I miss that? I need to create a process that helps me make sure that I don't miss it next time, whether it's going in and looking at what wallets hit it early and starting to track them and see if they consistently hit stuff early, track those. Or was this information publicly posted somewhere days ahead of time or shortly before launch? Could I have found that? What tools do I need to be able to find that? Whether it's using something like WandBot to get a notification or set up a Twitter Pro feed, whatever it may be. Create a process that helps you find the information early, because ultimately the information probably is out there, whether it's on chain or on Twitter or somewhere else. You can create some type of process or a tool to get yourself that edge.
I do think that's a big misconception about crypto, is people hear about crypto and they think it's all anonymous, but yet crypto is some of the most open. It's one of the most open markets in the world, as in like on-chain is on-chain. You know, you can't fake a transaction. You can't fake a buy. So if you know someone's wallets, you can see what they buy. It's not totally anonymous. Obviously, you have to hunt for those wallets. Obviously, you have to hunt for those alt Twitters or hunt who they're following. But once you have that info stream, there's no way to fake it.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Like, you guys are both really, really good at the wallet tracking stuff, and I know what your process looks like to a certain extent. And just for example, probably good to call out that Pew coin, the Pepe in the memes world. Right now, at the time of recording, it's around 70 mil market cap. Absolutely insane run. Prior to us going live with recording this, LTR was like, "Yeah, I got to go back through and analyze the wallets on that." Like, you see a coin rip like this, it's really smart to just start to dig in, see who the top traders are, see who was early, see who was buying the dips, and see if there's similarities where they're performing well on other coins, and then add it to your tracker and see if they're consistently good. If they're not, get rid of them.
That's the thing also, is people will just cope and then they'll do nothing. So you have three options. You can either cope and do nothing. You can either buy now and not cope, even if it's super high, or you can just go back, get the wallets, and see if there's some alpha. But coping and just doing nothing will only be detrimental.
Yeah, I would say honestly, like, if you're like just getting started into trading, probably the easiest way to go, and usually all of the trackers are mostly free. There's paid ones, but there's no point. Just use the free ones. The easiest thing to do is just to get into wallet tracking. It's just the common thesis of, like, I'm going to listen to my superior that is better than me and take what he does and put it into my work. That's the common thesis of it. So it's definitely like the easiest way. I mean, it's still like an elite tool, like no matter how far out you're in through your trading journey. That's the easiest one. Eventually down the road, you can get into other tools like tracking freshies and stuff like that. Like Rue has a lot of great stuff that I use, but that's paid. It takes a lot more time. Like, honestly, the wallet tracking is like the easiest thing to do. Do we want to kind of talk about the current meme cycle at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking on Twitter because I really wanted to see when this was going to happen. I think that we should definitely, I know we talked about the celeb stuff. I think we should definitely just address like the hype that's happening around Donald Trump right now and all of his coins. I mean, it's just insane. Like, he got convicted the other day and all of his coins just went nuts. It's not like he won the election or the election's coming up, and we've seen new coins come out, different ones based around different narratives or sayings like he has, like never surrender. It's crazy that new coins can come out even though there's pre-existing ones. Like, his biggest one on ETH went over 900 mil yesterday. Absolutely insane. He's got an interview at 11 a.m. on Friday from Trump Tower, which, I mean, that's a good example of a news-related coin opportunity. Like, if he says something unique, there's going to be coins that come out around that, and you should be looking to buy those. So be dialed into something like that. Yeah, I mean, not to talk politics or anything, but I think it's important to address the amount of motion that he just has as a person right now. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and state this. I don't think any of us are any political experts here at all. personally, me, I know absolutely nothing. I'm a 23-year-old random idiot that just trades on the internet. I have no knowledge. The only knowledge I see is people posting on Twitter things and me looking at price action on a coin. All right? Now, that's an
important disclaimer. We're here to make money. We have to talk about this crap because there's a lot of money being made around this narrative. It's just another narrative.
I do not care. If for some reason Iggy Azalea is the running candidate for the Democratic Party, I will all in. You know?
She's Australian.
I don't care. Whatever. She's Australian?
Yes, you didn't know this? What the fuck? Did you not hear her on Spaces? Like, that's crazy.
I'm now extremely bearish on that coin. I don't think Australia is a real place. I work with Australians and they're not real people.
What?
Shout out!
They're just like
capital people I work with.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
Look, like there's so much green things going on for the Trump coin, right? It's the leading candidate in the Republican Party.
What if he doesn't win?
Kind of what we talked about last week. The cult thesis. Trump cult is probably number one cult ever seen. I would say so.
I think so. At least for politicians
not going off
in
facts,
America.
just what I've seen personally, absolutely insane. I live in Texas. That it is next level down here, dog. Next level. It is crazy. It's that. It's good price action. It's who is like what is the word? He's the most likely to win. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like on betting sites. That's how I go off my thesis. I don't go off actual facts. I look at the betting sites and see who's the most likely to win, who has the best odds. That's my political information there. But there's just so many greens going for it, and like I know like a lot of like serious hitters are starting to invest, and then all of the kind of side coins, derivatives that relate to Trump are also doing well. Like I think the Never Surrender coins, like I really don't know about ETH or the Sol one, which one is going to go up the most, whatever. But I think that's a really good one, just because it's his campaign, whatever.
I mean, it's looking like the ETH one is going to be the one right now. Yeah. It's at the time of recording, it's at like 12 mil.
Solana seems to be best right now for quick in and outs, like free Trump yesterday. Yeah. I mean, that shit rocketed to like 7 million in like 1 hour, but then like obviously it just like fucking Burj Khalifa'd. Whereas like ETH, I feel like because of the liquidity, because of the amount of money on ETH, and just like the average investor on ETH versus Solana, I feel like those coins are more slow cookers. Obviously, they have their days, but not like the same as Solana. So I think Solana is great for quick in and outs, quick X's, quickly make your money. But then ETH meme coins are just great for like, okay, I'm gonna buy 2 ETH here. My max downside is like 40%, and I'm just gonna let it cook for a bit and see what happens.
Yeah, I think another important thing to mention just on the Trump topic is like I was of this mindset. Like I was looking at the MAGA coin on ETH like last fall thinking, yeah, this would be a great place to park some ETH, but it was already high. It was already like over 20 mil or something. And I felt like I had missed it a bit, but granted now, I mean, it's pretty clear that thing's going to go over $1 billion at some point. It nearly did yesterday. So I was thinking like, I'm late, I've missed the leaders, but then Pauly comes out and just like makes, or I don't know if he made it, but he started like promoting a new one on ETH, and that one ripped up over 300 mil. But you're seeing these derivatives now where Trump gets convicted, and then there's a free Trump, and then there's a ultra MAGA coin like a few days before that, and now there's Never Surrender that's over 12 mil. So there are going to be derivatives that will absolutely give you huge money making opportunities. So it's important to be dialed into those, and I think that's why I'm mentioning the interview, because he may say something on there, mention a saying, or maybe he like just makes another ridiculous quote like he's known for, and a meme coin gets created around that. You could have a ton of money off of a small investment if you get in early. So it's worth paying attention to. I think there's a lot of money to be made around that, and the derivatives can be great for that.
I mean, it's also, I didn't even mention this part, but he's pro-crypto, which I know the Democratic Party has also kind of switched to, pivoted to pro-crypto as well. But, everyone in crypto, like, loves Trump at the moment, like, political bias or not. Like, he seems to be very pro-crypto, and it makes sense. He's a businessman. He sees, the opportunity of growth within this sector. It's just kind of a easy thing to like bid at this point. You know, you want to bid a president that is supporting your crypto at the moment, especially for us traders.
Okay, I will say though, I think I'm big into politics. I've studied a lot, but I'm not saying any opinion either way, but I do think both parties are simply lobbying for money and donations right now. They're lobbying for voters. I mean, people's campaigns always do this. I would just be careful trusting either to actually do something once they get in office, especially with how the U.S. government is set up with checks and balances. You know, it really depends on what the Senate is, what the House of Representatives is, if Gensler's still, you know, head chairman, what have you. But I think people just have to be careful because they're like, oh, Trump is going to do this and Biden's going to do this for crypto. And I'm like, well, they're not even elected yet as far as for the next job. And also, they might just be playing us, frankly, for votes. Like, yeah, you know, I'll support crypto. And then they get millions in donations in Bitcoin, and then they just don't do anything in office, which has happened in the past with other issues. So I think we as crypto are really quick to, you know, think about these things. What's also funny to me is that a lot of these people with opinions on who's going to win the election on crypto Twitter aren't even American. They're like European or something. And I'm like, what, did you even take a government class in high school, like about America? Which is just funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to like dive like too deep into like what happens after the election and whether or not they're going to like support crypto or not. I mean, I have my opinion on like who is more likely to or not. The reality is there's a lot of money to be made between now and the election, probably some after as well. I think it's more risky if you hold a lot of these Biden or Trump coins after the election, take a bet on who's going to win. There's probably going to be a big sell-off event regardless of which one you're in, whether it's a leader or a derivative of either party. People are going to sell the news at the election, you know. So
yep.
I just think there's a ton of money to be made in that space or in that realm, the political coin narrative stuff between now and then.
I agree with you. I think a lot of people are discounting that the election results, the final election results, may actually be a sell the news event. Like, I could see both Biden and Trump nuking or, like, you know, having a huge candle for whoever wins, but then just getting sold off. I mean, that's all speculation. Obviously, I don't know, but I could totally see that happen, which is interesting to think about.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything else we want to talk about regarding just, like, the current meme cycle, or do we want to pivot over?
I think we do. I think we have to touch on just the meme cycle because, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Also, another thing that I thought was a top signal was just, like, memes are just running disgustingly hard.
Yeah.
Right? I remember I was listening to this other podcast, like, the other day, and it was kind of just a couple past cycle people, and they were like, man, we're sitting in like these DeFi coins, Polygon and stuff, trying to, you know, actually build, and then, you know, the outperformance just holding memes is just it's too insane just not to talk about.
I don't think that's a top signal though, because I'm like, think of all your peers right now on TikTok with their attention spans and stuff. They do not want to read a white paper about some Ponzi on ETH. They want to bid some cute ass fucking dog and just hold it. So I think, like, it's just a testament to the generation we're in and the retail that is entering crypto is that they're just different. They're different than the last retail. And every retail that enters crypto, every generation of retail that enters crypto after this will be different in their own right. So I think it's just a testament to what people want right now. And I think you just gotta keep playing musical chairs until the music stops and just ride along with it. I also think to that point of the top, people are really interested in calling tops, and yet in past cycles you've always had something called a complacency bounce, so you don't actually need to time the exact top. You can basically say, that seemed like a blow off top, I'll sell the next complacency bounce, and that's been a great strategy both in meme coins and in macro. But yeah, I think it is concerning to us, you know, that have seen past cycles or have seen like NFTs, for example, were kind of similar. Obviously, they didn't run as hard as fast, but just like the whole celebrity buying bullshit, you know, goblins, some random fucking shit going to 6 ETH, stuff like that. I think it's just a testament, like I said, to who is entering crypto currently, though.
Look, I mean, I definitely agree for sure. And I think kind of everyone does say that. And look, I'm not complaining about it. And it makes sense, you know. I do think we are in the world where it's just everyone is just a insane gambler. They need to find other sources of revenue to be able to afford basic things they want in life, like maybe afford a house one day. And, you know, I think it's easier for someone to understand cute dog picture rather than some complicated Ponzi scheme or some like actual utility token. Like, I mean, I'll just say it. Like, even like the AI tokens are just honestly a meme at this point. Like, it's just some random BS. Like, no one. It's not, do they even have a product? Who cares? Bid it to 300 mil. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
I did see an interesting tweet, and it was from one of the, I think, the Haven guys who are really good, and it was saying that if you enter crypto, you're automatically probably mid curve, right? It is easier to go from mid curve to left curve than it is to go from mid curve to right curve. So I think like anytime people enter retail, you know, they could spend hours reading white papers and reading Sakamoto's original vision for Bitcoin, or they could just, you know, load up a fucking Photon wallet and bid pump funds. And I think it's just a testament to like how easy it is to go to the left curve from the middle curve rather than to try and be genius.
For the sake of our listeners, I mean, I think we all know what this is. Could you break down the curve?
Yeah, so the curve, when people talk about left curve, right curve, or middle curve,
I feel like a lot of people don't even know what it is. You know?
It's talking about the distribution of IQs. So if you look up the bell curve for distribution of IQs, it's this like mountain rounded looking thing. And it means that most of the population is in the average, and the peak is the average, right? And as you go farther left and further right, the percentages end up being the same of really genius people and really dumb people. But as far as crypto, when you're thinking of left curve would be like, oh, this dog is cute. I'm just going to ape and forget about it. Right curve would be like writing a white paper and gathering an entire thesis on some Ponzi and why emissions will help your bag, stuff like that. Whereas like middle curve would be doing neither, and middle curve is probably the worst. Middle curve would be like, oh, that dog is stupid. I'm not going to buy that token. Oh, that's too complicated, and I'm not going to buy that, and you end up just making no money. So I think in crypto, it's essential to have both elements eventually, but especially when you're starting out, I think it's essential to just be like, hey, I'm not going to be a middle curve. I'm going to pick one and stick with it, and right now, left curves are winning the most, frankly.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of references around that on crypto Twitter. It's basically like, in order to make a lot of money in this space, especially with coins, you got to be early to stuff. And if you're going to take the time, like mid curve, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm not going to buy that. It could even mean that you're doing a marginal amount of research to try to create a thesis. You're taking your time doing that, but you're not writing a white paper. You're not going fully to the right side. But you might be taking too much time. If you fully left curve something and you say, hey, I'm going just like full stupid on this, I just like how it looks and I'm buying it, you're more likely to be early. If you fully left curve stuff in the way that people talk about it, they're like, yep, looks good, I'm buying. And you might get rugged, or it might be crap. But if you're not really doing much research and you're just kind of going off your intuition, or you kind of like it, you're left curving, you're getting in early, more likely than not.
I think testament to that, like you said, is that I think the important point is that you have to just pick one. Like, don't stay in the middle curve. If you want to go the full thesis route and do that, okay, fully do that, and find huge conviction trades that you can size into. There are a lot of amazing right curve traders. I will say they're mostly on sexes, though. They're mostly on sexualized exchanges instead of playing meme coins, because meme coins are just inherently left curve. So if you are in the middle curve, I would just say find your trading style, find what you like, and just try and escape that average.
Did you say sexualized exchanges?
I said centralized, I think. I
Okay,
got mixed up with sexes, but I think sexualized exchanges is a good term, though.
We'll put that on the on-train trader category.
Yeah.
LTR is touching the exchanges. I can't believe it. All right, let's pivot probably to our last topic of the day. I guess we can just talk about base / runes / kind of just buying the non-current narrative stuff, you know, as a play to make money. But I'll let you talk about NRV about base, because I know you are a fanatic about it.
Yeah, so we're recording this on the morning of the 31st, Friday the 31st. This episode will be out today. I'm not sure what time, probably shortly after this. Yeah, On-Chain Summer is kicking off basically today. Jesse Pollock is doing a live stream thing, kickoff. I guess he's going to give a presentation and have some other people up on board with him. The Coinbase Smart Wallet doesn't launch until June 6th, so you'll have assets tradable on there, and tokens will be, yeah, you can get them trending on there and trade them through there. So I'm excited to check that out when it goes live. But On-Chain Summer officially does start today, and the kickoff is later this afternoon. And we're finally seeing like a lot of volume come back to Base, like literally overnight from yesterday to today. There's a lot of like pre-established meme coins that have just absolutely been ripping, but even this morning, some have just been going absolutely insane. Like, I mean, there's just some I've been looking at, and I don't necessarily hold some or any of these, but could name some. Like Keycat had a huge run already. Chomp had a huge run. Toby has gone up a lot this morning. But there's even new coins. One that I wrote like a tweet about called Skop, SKOP. That's been going pretty crazy. That's brand new. It's been out for like a day and a half. So there are new opportunities. There's one that LTR shared with me that came out, I think like a week or so ago, called On-Chain Summer. I think the ticker is Summer. That one's doing really well right now because it's on brand with On-Chain Summer. I think it's an exciting time because I think that, I guess my view on it is, yeah, we're probably going to have a really hot few months, but I think the first month, at least the first couple of weeks, are the most important to be dialed in with, because attention does tend to move. I don't think Solana is ever going to be dead by any means. Maybe the volume does slow a bit as people start to put attention towards Base, but it's an ongoing initiative from their team, from the Base team, the Coinbase team, and obviously it's going to be tied in with the Coinbase Smart Wallet as well. They have their own Twitter. You can go follow that. It's linked. I definitely recommend following Jesse Pollock. He's basically the community lead for everything on Base. They basically will be running like a lot of promotional stuff throughout the entire summer, and they'll be promoting certain projects. I think they have like a whole grant or like rewards program for people that are building on Base. So my belief is you probably have a lot of legitimate projects that have been building in silence that are waiting for this time to launch. So I'm expecting this week to be a pretty big week on Base. I think it's really important to stay dialed in there. Last time Base cooked, like a couple months ago, the live new pairs and contract deployments were not that crowded, but right now it's really bad. Like there are so many scams. You really got to look out for them because they'll even pass like the check mark. So if you're looking at them on Photon, or if you're doing your own quality assurance to make sure that they're okay by saying, okay, it's renounced, the liquidity's locked, and it looks safe. A lot of the rugs that are happening right now are not safe, where the deployer basically just owns a ton of tokens, so he'll give you those fake check marks, and then he'll just dump all the tokens on your head and essentially rug the LP that way. So be careful if you're going for new pairs. I would recommend doing some research on Twitter. Look for things that are noteworthy projects. Maybe look for things that are co-signed by Jesse or good Base influencers, for example. But I think there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff coming over like the next couple weeks, more so this week. I don't know, what do you guys think?
You know, Base is just such an easy bet, you know. Like I remember I saw I mean, you can just see it in just Coinbase's like recent price action, their actual stock. Like it's just such an easy bet. Like I don't know. It's really hard to like try to say something negative upon it like from the other side. So I mean, I'm almost like wondering, like I'm kind of looking and I'm like, where is the next like 100 mil plus coin? Like I know there's degen, but I'm kind of waiting for like a meme coin to like actually run on there. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. But then also we're, you know, kind of running close, but just kind of the whole runes as well. Runes is also starting to, a lot of it kind of slow down. And then like the Leonidas dog token's been on a crazy run. A couple, if you like minted a bunch of random runes, you probably have free money sitting in your wallet, so probably check that. Like I know like the Donald Trump one ran like crazy. But I kind of just want to touch on the thesis of it's just another trading style where you have an insane narrative. Like I think when Sol was extremely hot And then when the ETH ETF thing, everyone kind of started moving over to ETH. And it was kind of a meta change. And, and anyone that was buying ETH stuff while Solana was extremely hot profited very, very hard. I know Mog went went below 200 mil. Joe was at 4 mil, maybe even 2 mil. There was a lot of crazy dips, and I just think it's something that we should talk about, how if you still believe in the process of a certain chain, even if it's not the current meta, there is a play to where okay, what were the strongest coins on that said chain, and maybe DCA into them and just kind of just evaluate and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's a really, really important point, actually. And we're actually in the mix of seeing that shift happen right now. I think if you had bought any of not any, but probably 90% of the prior pre-established base leading meme coins, or even some project coins that had done well last time around, if you had done it literally a day or two ago, you'd be up huge this morning. A lot of them are up 30, 40, 50, 60% today alone, over the past 12 to 24 hours. It's nuts. But we're also seeing a lot of that volume shift into runes. So I'm thinking, and granted, a lot of people that trade runes aren't the same people that are trading based. Sure, there's overlap, but there are definitely people out there that are solely only Bitcoin maxis that are just waiting for runes to come back and for ordinals to come back so that they can trade their NFTs and art and crap over there. It looks like both of those are starting to shift back right now. So if you're looking for where the attention is going to be, it's probably going to be on those two. I don't see ETH slowing down anytime soon just because of the ETF stuff and where all that's going. ETH mainnet has been hot, but also Solana's not going to slow down too much either. It's not going anywhere because you have so many maxis and so much volume there, but there is a clear shift that's happening towards runes and base right now.
I think I mentioned on the first or second podcast that I thought runes would come back just because of how much Twitter was shitting on it. And I think you agreed with me, NRV, that you said it reminded you of ordinals as well, because the same thing happened. I think it's just an interesting case of any time Twitter thinks something is completely dead that has a good narrative or a good base of people that like it. Even when runes were quote unquote dead, there was still a huge Bitcoin community that was still loving them, still being a part of it. So it wasn't it was completely dead. And even same with base, once the volume fell off, there was still a huge base community. The coins were still getting shilled. So I think anytime you see something like that has good backing, a good narrative, and a good fan base, even if volume's low, you should always create a deck screener watch list or a folder inside Chrome or something just to keep track on it. And once that volume picks up a little bit, you're maybe I can park some money here because your downside will be really low.
Maybe even not when the volume starts to pick up. It's the whole idea of buying dips and whatnot, right? Those dips come when the attention shifts away from it. And thankfully we've been through prior cycles already where attention was there on base, for example. So you know what tokens are there. That's where you make the money. CK posted a tweet earlier this morning or late last night saying he had accumulated a lot of Chomp coin when it was completely down when base had died, and he's up multiple six figures now on that trade because it's over 20 mil and he's expecting it to go higher. Same thing with runes, even though runes didn't really go through a prior cycle, but when they kicked off, it was pretty easy to see which ones the leaders were because some of them had ran, but there's also provenance where you can look at, okay, which of the runes were in the first 10 runes ever minted. Those are going to be leaders when they do come back around, and it's happening right now.
Yeah, I've been in the standpoint of where I'm kind of staring at something and I'm why is this not playing out? Why is it not working out? Why is this not going up? It just makes so much sense to me, and I just can't comprehend it. Usually if you have that gut feeling about it, it's usually a decent bid. That's all I'm going to say on that. The narrative of bidding something that's kind of not in the meta is so strong. Look at we're not going to talk about the price action of it now, but look at how the Friend Tech coin launch went. It literally went from everyone loved Friend Tech to everyone was talking absolute smack on Friend Tech to we saw massive CT people insta dump their allocation immediately on launch, and then it still ran to almost $3. Like it's just very easy to kind of pay attention to the meta, but not neglect things that were past meta, and still pay attention to them. And honestly, it's usually a good bid.
One thing I do want to make sure I mention on runes that I think is really unique about them. I was talking to a friend about this the other day. Basically, with runes right now, there's no liquidity pool for them. So you're trading them by listing them similar to like how you would list NFTs or how you would list BRC20 tokens. It's basically you post it at a certain price, or you can post it at the floor or slightly above, like you're listing an NFT. And granted, there's no rarity. You're just posting a pool or a number of tokens that you want to sell, a number of runes that you want to sell. What's nice about that is, even if like the market cap is like 100K on something, you could put like 1 Bitcoin into it, and if it 2x's, like you're up 1 Bitcoin. There's no price impact. You're not trading into a liquidity pool. So if you have conviction in something that's a lower market cap, you can 2 to 3x that pretty quickly. Granted, if you buy 1 Bitcoin of something at 100K, like you're going to push it up insane on your own unless there's like a ton of floor listings, right? But I think it's important to mention that because it's essentially OTC trading. There's no liquidity pool. There's no price impact. But on the back end of that, it's also hard to exit because you have to find a buyer. You can't just sell into a liquidity pool. So it kind of has its pros and cons, or cuts both ways.
I believe that tech is getting developed, though. I'm pretty sure. I think I've seen some
it definitely
stuff
is.
from Twitter.
One of the best places to look at runes is if you just go to magiceden.io/runes. It'll show you the top 100, and if you click into the pool for any of them, like for example, I'm looking at like the Epic one or Decentralized. I'm clicking Decentralized right now, the one from like the CyberKongz team. There's up top, there's a buy tab, a sell tab, and there's a swap tab. The swap one says soon. So it seems like they're building something like that. I don't know how they're going to do it. Like maybe you have to be a provider of liquidity or whatever, but it looks like it's being developed, and I would bet that they're not the only ones that are developing that tech.
Yeah, shout out to the Magic Eden team. They've always put in just elite, insane work.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I guess we'll kind of end it on anything that y'all are looking at for the upcoming week.
Just ETH base. I think we covered I think base, especially as the summer comes around. I think I'm just watching kind of everything, right? Like NRV said, I don't think Solana's going away. I don't think ETH's going away. I don't think base is going away. I think Rune's going to come back. Obviously, you want to divide your attention, or not divide your attention too much, and kind of pick some places. But I would say I'm kind of just looking at everything. I'm ready for any opportunity for sure, but nothing specific.
Yeah, I did a lot of Solana trading for those few weeks when it was dead. I made a lot on the Sol Maga coin, then I gave a lot of it back. It's just kind of ping-ponging my portfolio around, just over trading straight up. But I've told you guys that from the get-go, when we went through our original origin story stuff and our trading styles, I feel like I have a much better feel for the markets on base and on mainnet, and I have a better edge there as well. So I'm excited for this shift to happen, and I'm definitely looking forward to On-Chain Summer.
Shout out On-Chain Summer. Hopefully we get rich. Hopefully we get more celeb launches. Really, really excited for that. Can't wait for Kanye West to launch Ye token. Absolutely
I'll
insane.
full pork that. I'm not gonna lie. He's a cult leader, bro. He could push a coin. I'm not gonna lie.
Sahil, get on it, brother.
Just hope he doesn't work with Sahil, dude. Please don't.
All jokes, not joking, really.
If it's an anti-Semite coin, that will not go over well.
Oh God. Shout, man, the Kanye downfall is crazy. But anyways, we won't speak on that. Anything else y'all want to talk about, or are we probably good to go?
We're good to wrap up. I'm gonna go listen to this Trump interview and see if I can buy some shit coins based on anything he says.
I'm gonna on-train trade.
Look at that, absolute Chad. Anon's gonna on-train trade, and LTR's gonna sexually touch the exchanges.
Always,
but
I'm the exchange diddler, bro.
Oh Lord. All right. Hope y'all had a good time listening. We will see y'all next week.
We have
Peace.
some fire guests coming up too, guys. So stay tuned.
Absolute insane guests. All right. See y'all on the next one.
See ya.